government restates commitment to functional health care. Head of Service Ademo appraises performance of old SIP change ambassadors, urges more sensitization on increased productivity. Court remands former Accountant General of the Federation and 2 others in prison over alleged fraud. And from the foreign scene, Sudan's tribal fighting leaves thousands displaced. Good evening and welcome to the news at 7. I am Akinwumi Abodunde. Tonight we begin from the courts. The Ondo State House of Assembly has filed a notice of appeal and a motion for stay of execution against the ruling of the Federal High Court sitting in Akure, which ordered the House to allow Mr. Irojo Ogundeji, whose seat was recently declared vacant by the House, to resume legislative duties pending the hearing of the substantive suit. The House approached the appeal court on the grounds that the lower court erred in law by granting the first respondent's application for mandatory injunction when there was no evidence of proof of service on the first respondent. The defendants therefore prayed the appeal court to grant a stay of execution pending the determination of the appeal. A high court sitting in the Federal Capital Territory has ordered former Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, and 2 others to be remanded in prison pending the determination of their bail applications. Justice Adeyemi Ajayi gave the ruling after Idris, Godfrey Olusegun Akindele, and Mohammed Kudu Usman pleaded not guilty to charges of diverting about 109 billion naira public funds. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had in a statement said Idris is being arraigned alongside others on a 14-count of stealing and criminal breach of trust to the tune of over 909 billion naira. The second edition of Emeritus Professor Oladipo Akin-Kugbe Memorial Lecture has been held at the University of Medical Sciences, Medical Village, Ondo. Bisola Aluko was there for OSRC, and the report is presented from our studio.
Late Emeritus Professor Oladipo Akin-Kugbe, who was a scholar in hypertension, specialized in nephrology, cardiology, and contributed his professional quota in the field of medicine before his demise. Akin-Kugbe, who died in June 2022, enjoyed being an advisor to generations of federal and state executives as well as international organizations who sought solutions to critical positions in the health and education sectors. This prompted University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, to honor him with the distinguished lecture. In his welcome address, the Vice-Chancellor of UNIMED, Professor Adesegun Fatusi, eulogized the late medical professor, saying the university was lucky to have a good heritage in him. Professor Fatusi, who said the lecture is in celebration of a life of excellence, also appreciated staff of the university for their unwavering support to growth and development of the institution.
The Akin-Kugbe lecture is a celebration of excellence. Our strong conviction is that excellence thrives most when it is recognized and celebrated. To foster and sustainably promote a culture of excellence in our institutions and our nation, we must continuously hold men of excellence in our esteem and consciously celebrate them.
Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu was represented by the Commissioner for Infrastructure, Lands and Housing. Raimi Aminu said the administration recognizes health as fundamental to human development.
It was only fitting to identify a cerebral administrator, manager, and scholar to help shape the philosophy of the institution. As chairman of the council, Professor Akin-Kugbe was a perfect fit for the role and the quality of foundation laid. Notwithstanding the prevailing global and national economic challenges and competing demands for resources in our state, we remain committed to the emergence and sustenance of a health system that can protect human life.
The distinguished lecturer, Professor Oluwabumi Olapade Olaopa, advocated practical solutions to the challenges being faced in the health sector.
What is Nigeria's challenges? Growth without development.
It is with a deep sense of gratitude that as a family, the university is holding this lecture in honor of our late father.
The heir of the medical icon, Mr. Olumide Akinkugbe, thanked the university for immortalizing his father. The late Emeritus Professor Oladipo Akinkugbe Distinguished Lecture is an annual event to honor his legacy after his passing 2 years ago.
The Ondo State Head of Service, Mr. Adeniran Adeyemo, has charged change ambassadors of the Ondo Service Improvement Program, OTSIP, to intensify efforts at sensitizing civil servants on the tenets of the program for increased productivity. The charge was given at the workshop on performance appraisal for change ambassadors of OTSIP, organized by the Department of Public Service Reforms and Development in Akure, the state capital. Joy Pius has details as presented from our studios.
The workshop on performance appraisal template and a recapitulation session for Ondo State Improvement OTSIP change ambassadors is to help improve their professional skills in their various MDAs. In his welcome address, Administrative Secretary, Department of Public Service Reform and Development, Adewale Omomowo, noted the importance of the exercise and role of the change ambassadors in reforming the state civil service.
As change ambassadors, we have been carefully selected to follow the transformation process in the civil service. And that's the reason we meet on a quarterly basis to interact and learn so that we can cascade whatever we have learned at our various MPAs. Some ambassadors no longer do this, have taken the lectures for granted, and that is not good enough. That is the reason for this recapitulation session today, to refresh our memory and to do the needful when we get to our respective MDA.
The head of service, Mr. Adeniran Adeyemo, while applauding the achievement recorded so far, urged the change ambassadors not to neglect the tenets of OTSIP, adding that the meeting is the last interactive session he will have with them as head of service.
I want you to keep the flag flying. Yes. Incidentally, while working to earn our salary, we are also working for our people. So I want to encourage you, don't see the work as earning salary alone. Just as your mantra, OC, to do my best for a better society. Yes. Work as if you are serving God and humanity. And when you do this, I can assure you, you will be contented, you will feel fulfilled.
The meeting revealed the outcome of past interactive sessions from second quarter of 2021 to second quarter 2022, as well as the workshop on the performance appraisal template.
Change ambassadors are to ensure the delivery of MBA mandate. We have to carry assessment from time to time. This is what we are supposed to do. Are we doing it right? And this way we are doing it. Is it the only way that we can go about it? So we should be interested in the activity of our MBA.
Participants are optimistic that the workshop will boost their professional demands at respective workplaces.
The society must be better, and when you want to better society, you start from somewhere. You yourself must better yourself before you better the society.
Today's training will afford me to go back and recapitulate what I was taught today. We'll be able to build more on our activities.
The workshop, according to the change ambassadors, will chart a new course for various MDAs in the state.
Not leaving issues around the all-important engine room of governance, civil servants working in strategic agencies such as the Ondo State Ministry of Water Resources have been enjoined to place premium on efficiency to justify their responsibility to the society. Commissioner for Water Resources, Public Sanitation and Hygiene, Mr. Fatai Olotu, gave the charge during a familiarization meeting with staff on assumption of office. Mr. Olotu said it is compulsory for the workers to be dedicated to hard work towards achieving the mandate of the present administration in the water sector. The commissioner, who applauded the Kamomi Aketi water scheme, explained that the governor will be spurred to do more to take the state to enviable heights if workers reciprocate with passion to serve humanity in the critical sectors.
The mandate of Mr. Governor and this administration to make sure that water is made available to all the most requirements of the state. So that's what brought about the Kamomi Aketi scheme that was met with a very huge success. And the success we are feeling. So from Kamomi Aketi, the intent of this administration and that of Mr. Governor is to take the provision of potable water to the highest level. So, and the deployment of the ministry at this critical moment is a show of confidence that I can fulfill the mandate of this administration and Mr. Governor in the provision of water for our people.
The Permanent Secretary, Alhaji Olabode Yusuf, had earlier assured of the support of the staff for the new commissioner. President of the Amalgamated Union of Public Corporations, Technical and Recreational Service Employees, Solomon Adilegan, pledged the loyalty of all workers and assured of their dedication to duty. You're watching the news at 7. You can also watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook, OSRC TV Ondo, and on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel, OSRC TV Ondo. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us on the news at 7 tonight. Women have been charged to enhance their skills for self-improvement. The advice was given by the leader of Human Development Initiative, Mrs. Godspa Olufunsho, on the last day of a 5-day empowerment program organized for 50 women in Ondo State. The event also featured presentation of cash, startup kits, and certificate of participation to the beneficiaries. OSRC's Oladoyin Ayegbusi reports from Imoru, venue of the event.
It is the final day of an empowerment program organized by a non-governmental organization, Human Development Initiatives, to imbue women with vocational skills in several communities in Osrc local government area. The event, which lasted for a week, was organized to make women more independent and responsible to themselves. About 50 women who have been trained on several vocational skills like soap making, tie and dye, cake baking, and other confectionery services were given startup kits, certificates of participation, and 10,000 naira each. Leader of the Human Development Initiatives, Mrs. Godspower Olufunsho, says the host community's eagerness to the program is an attestation of their desire to better the lives of women. She urged the trainees to make good use of the skills acquired in the course of the program.
It has been impactful. I could see the passion. They were really ready to learn and even to take it to the next level according to them. And I'm sure this one will help them in terms of being self-reliant.
Olumoru of Imoru, Oba Oluwarotimi Obamuagun, appreciated the philanthropist for the kind gesture and further charged the women to multiply what they have gained from the vocational training to improve on their livelihood.
When they start to do all these things, they will be able to train their children in schools, they will be able to take care of themselves, they will be able to assist the community, because if the community starts with the family, and the local government starts with the world, blah blah like that. So I'm happy about this. It's a very great development.
And for the trainers, it was a privilege to have trained the women. The trainees thanked the human development initiatives for the opportunity and promised to raise the bar of their lives.
I encourage them that the little space that they've given to them, they should work on it, they should start something.
With all that has been given to them, the reagents, the containers, and the rest of them, they should start today. Today, it should be today. By tomorrow, laxity might come in.
The trainees thanked the human development initiatives for the opportunity and promised to raise the bar of their lives.
If each and every one of us start those things now, I think it's helps us to be a somebody.
The training, which began on Monday to economically empower women, ended today. Oladoyin Ayegbusi, Osrc News.
The Fellowship of Christian Traditional Rulers of Nigeria in Ondo State has held its 4th anniversary in Akure, the state capital. Coordinator of the fellowship, John Kolawole, said the program with the theme, The King and His Kingdom in this season, is geared towards improving the traditional rulers' connection with God and their capacity to reach out positively to their communities. Omori Laungbeji has details.
Christian traditional rulers, top government functionaries, as well as faithfuls gathered to meet like minds to better the lives of citizens at the grassroots. The state coordinator of the fellowship, Pastor John Kolawole, said the program is designed to draw the traditional rulers closer to God, enhance their spiritual strength, and leadership capacity to drive godly policies in their communities.
Factron have been ordained by God to bring discipleship to our KBCs on their God-given roles to reach out to their community, to ensure that their community is operating in peace.
Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, who was represented by his special advisor on union matters, Dare Aragbaye, confirmed the traditional rulers as key players and promised government's continued collaboration for development.
This forum is taking the advantage, the opportunity of having traditional rulers as key players in the efforts to develop the land and our people. And that is what government is meant to do. And government cannot do this without the traditional rulers also being given the platform.
Adding their voices to the alliance, the Commissioner for Agric and Forestry, Olayato Aribo, and Senior Special Assistant to Governor Akeredolu on Agric and Agribusiness, Akin Olotu, said government will continue to partner traditional rulers to encourage agriculture in their communities. They cleared the air on the allegations by farmers in Idori that government was planning to concede farmlands, saying the land belongs to government and the gesture is to improve agricultural status of the area.
It is to bring socio-economic development in the society through the institution of ownership. So, and I believe this gathering is one of the strategies of achieving that.
What a situation where we can put the thing in the villages and in the hands of the obas, especially the farming for the youth. We know they have a way they can talk to their people, they know them, they know those that are serious, they know that are not serious.
Alara of Ilaramokin, Oba Aderemi Adefenti, and the Olumoru Oba Oluwarotimi Obamuagun stressed that the forum has impacted so much in them.
We are there to develop our various communities, and if we have to do that, we need people who give us the lead, which they have done perfectly well.
And we'll be told what we will do when we get back home. The link that we will use and all those things have been given to us. So we'll do all those things, and I believe very strongly that at the end of the day, I'll be able to transform my own personal community positively.
High points of the program was a lecture on the theme of the program and security consciousness of traditional rulers. Omori Olahunbeji, Osrc News.
For those who are asking how ready INEC is for the 2023 general elections, President Muhammadu Buhari says the elections will affirm INEC's institutional strength. He assured Nigerians that the Commission will deliver acceptable, credible and violence-free elections. The president said the Electoral Act he signed earlier in the year was an attestation to his determination and commitment to the tenets of the rule of law. Buhari stressed the need for partnerships among the three tiers of government in order to deliver good governance to the people. The Federal Ministry of Power has launched the Niger Sustainable Energy for All Platform 3.0 to help increase access to electricity supply in the country. Speaking at the event in Abuja, Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu said apart from the major problem of overloading which is affecting Niger's power sector, acts of vandalism are also affecting the grid and had resulted in the intermittent power outage in the country. Meanwhile, the European Union and the German government have supported the ministry to collect data for energy market intelligence towards enhancing policy formulation. The first version of the platform, launched in November 2020, received significant traffic and responses. So let's check what's happening in education. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, says it will no longer consider National Business and Technical Education Board A-level results for direct entry into tertiary institutions. However, the registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, said all those who have already obtained the results before now will be able to use it. JAM announced 140 as cutoff mark for universities, while 100 is for polytechnics as well as colleges of education for the 2022-2023 academic session. Oloyede urged tertiary institutions to adhere strictly to extant regulations by the National Universities Commission, National Board for Technical Education, and the National Commission for Colleges of Education. Staying with education, the federal government has appealed to the Nigeria Labour Congress to cancel its planned protest over the prolonged strike of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and other university-based unions. Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, made the appeal at a meeting with the leadership of NLC in his office. Ngige said efforts are ongoing to resolve the impasse in the university system. The minister reminded the NLC leadership that they were incorporated into the tripartite conciliation and being very much aware of efforts of the government to resolve the impasse, they should not embark on any rally or protest. The minister urged the NLC National Executive Council to reconsider the planned rally to avoid being taken over by hoodlums. Moving to the foreign scene, tribal fighting in Sudan's Blue Nile state has forced thousands of people from their homes. Clashes between the Berti and Hausa tribes have left more than 100 people dead and many more wounded. The volatile security situation has prevented aid organizations from reaching many displaced families. Omoremi Ogumola reports.
For the past week, this has been Sarah Mohammed's home. She left Damascene in Sudan's Blue Nile states when fighting broke out between the Hausa and Bata tribes. She and her children walked for hours to reach neighboring Sina state.
We heard that there was fighting in parts of Blue Nile between our tribe and other tribes, and we immediately fled. It took us more than 6 hours of walking to get here, and now we have nothing except what we were given by the host communities.
Sarah is one of the thousands displaced by the unrest and one of the few to have settled with the host community. Other families have found shelter in abandoned schools in Sina, but thousands of families are displaced in Blue Nile state itself. Some haven't found anywhere to stay and are stuck outside in the middle of the rainy season. Delivering aid to those in need is no easy task. Some areas are hard to access because of the violence, and while aid organizations wait for security conditions to improve, people are becoming more and more desperate. Many say they have lost everything.
I escaped with nothing except the clothes I'm wearing. No one has come to see what our needs are. There are people with chronic diseases and children needing help. We need someone to come and provide us with assistance.
The conflict started when the Hausas tried to establish a tribal administration and laid claim to land. The Beta and other tribes rejected the move and fighting broke out. More than 100 people were killed. The government has imposed a curfew and banned large gatherings in 2 cities, but as long as tribal hostilities persist, getting help to those who need it will remain a challenge. Omoremi Ogumola, Osrc News.
Let's check sports. The Ondo State Football Association has unveiled its plans for the forthcoming Ogunjobi Memorial Under-15 football competition. According to the chairman of the association, Otumba Dele Ajayi, Ondo State representatives will be picked from a screening exercise involving registered youth clubs from all council areas. Those selected will thereafter be camped ahead of the competition scheduled for Osogbo between August 16 and 21. The 6 states from the southwest geopolitical zone will take part in the tourney. Nigeria will battle Zambia in the 3rd place match of the Women's African Cup of Nations WAFCON in Morocco. Today, the Super Falcons will make one last attempt in the competition as they square off against the Copper Queens of Zambia for the bronze medal. Following Monday's semi-final heartbreak against hosts Morocco in front of a vociferous audience, the Randy Waldrum's side will hope they can end the tournament on a high, buoyed by Asisat Oshola's 5th African Footballer of the Year award. Zambia, on the other hand, will hope they can get their first podium finish at the WAFCON, having failed to win any medals or trophies at previous competitions. Kickoff time is 9 p.m. Nigerian time. And now to end the news at 7, another look at the major stories. Ondo State government has restated its commitment to qualitative and functional health care. Ondo State Head of Service, Mr. Adeniro Adeyemo, has charged OTSIP change ambassadors to intensify efforts at sensitizing civil servants on improved productivity. A federal high court in Abuja has ordered former Accountant General of the Federation and 2 others to be remanded in prison over alleged 109 billion naira fraud. We also told you that from the foreign scene, tribal fighting in Sudan has forced thousands of people to flee their homes. That's it on the news at 7. Thank you for being a part of it. Good evening.